So right now, there are three stories that we need to master. 3 stories we need to master. There's the story we tell the customer, which we talked about a lot today. That's our process pattern strategy. The story we tell our customer. There's the internal story, the story we tell ourselves. That's the one that's the sales hell we were talking about. There's also the story we tell our coach, the story between our boss. See, I believe we got to master these 3 stories in order to change our life, become that machine, and make that decision to do something different in our life. I remember I was in a seminar just like this, and I was talking to a salesperson named Jim, and Jim comes up to me, and he's a veteran, been doing it for 20 years. Makes $125,000 a year selling houses, but he hit a plateau because he didn't change his story he was telling his customer. His customer story was the same. His process was the same. And so his sales plateaued at $125,000 a year. And I remember him coming up to me in a seminar just like this and saying, Jason, why do I need to listen to what you are telling me when what I am already doing is working? I'm already making $125,000 a year. Why do I need to listen to this? April, in a seminar just like this, she was a brand new single mother that was forced into new home sales to support her 2 children. Her story she had a hard time with was a story between her ears. She did not believe she was capable. She did not believe she was enough. She did not believe that she could do it. And so her problem was she had to get her story right inside of her ears in order to support her 2 children. So we've got Jim, we've got April, and we've got Dan. And Dan, a person just like you in a situation just like this, Dan tells me he has the dreaded 30-day red talk with his manager. You guys know what I'm talking about, that dreaded 30-day talk that says you got 30 days to turn this thing around or else. See, Dan's problem is the story he had with his coach. See, he believed that his coach was doing something to him, not something for him. And so at a seminar just like this, he heard something that changed his life. And he realized that he needed to demand coaching. He needed to see his coach as something very different. And so he immediately goes to his coach and says, coach me, I will submit to you, show me the way. I do not want to be fired in 30 days. I will learn something different. He changed the story of what his coach was doing, not to him, but for him. And he said the most amazing line that I thought was so impactful. And he said, my coach looks at me and he says, when you will believe in you, like I believe in you, you will do the impossible. Listen to that. His coach looks at him and says, when you will believe in you, like I believe in you, you'll do the impossible. I have now borrowed that line, and that is the line I tell my children all the time. My 9-year-old and 8-year-old, my son and daughter, I'm constantly telling them, when you believe in you like I believe in you, you will do the impossible. We just need more people in our lives like coaches that will say things like that. So Dan, of course, took that message and changed his life, and now he's one of the top salespersons in the entire country, turned his career completely around. April, that single mother, she immediately started in a seminar just like this, took information and made a decision to say, you know what? I'm going to change my life and go from I am not enough to I now am enough. And now she began to make enough to support her family. And Jim, the veteran, $125,000 a year, completely fine, completely happy. At that moment, he heard information that said, you know what? Yeah, maybe you can teach an old dog new tricks. Maybe I can change some things. And at that moment, something changed. Took some information, something you've heard today from one of the speakers, he took it. And he said, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'm going to decide. I'm going to make a difference. He took the information, he left. When he left that room, left those doors, and he calls me back up and says, best year ever. See, we take different stories. I wish I had more time on stage to tell you stories like this. I know each of you have stories just like this, stories of Jim, or stories like April, or stories like Dan. See, they were in a room just like this. They were people just like you. The only difference was they decided. When they walked out that door, they took a moment and they just decided. So right now, I wonder if you fully realize if you've decided either now or you will be deciding when you walk out that door. Or I wonder if you fully realize that maybe Maybe sometime throughout this seminar, throughout this conference, or maybe tomorrow, maybe it's on the way back home, you're gonna be in the airplane and you'll have a moment that says, you know what, I've decided. But all life is about decisions, of are you going to turn your life from a sales mortal to a sales machine? Are you going to master the stories? So what will it feel like when you walk out that door and just decide? Where will you be? Will it be in a room like this? I wonder when you'll fully decide. So right now, I want you to visualize yourself walking out that room in a room just like this. Because remember, April and Dan and Jim and all the stories I've told you, there are people just like you, and they sat in a room just like this. The only difference was they decided. So when you walk out that door today, what I would like for you to do is just take a moment, take a breath, just take a pause. You walk out that door, you take a pause, you say it out loud, you say it in your head, but I want you to walk out that door, and as you walk out, you're going to step and you're going to say, I just decided.